Let's talk about semiconductors. You know, those tiny chips that are basically in everything? For the longest time, only a handful of countries have been able to make them. But that's all about to change. India is jumping into the ring, spending billions of dollars to join this high-stakes race and totally reshape the global tech map. So let's break down their incredibly ambitious plan to become a semiconductor powerhouse.
I mean, just think about it. Your phone, your car, your laptop, even your coffee maker, they all run on these little marvels. They are, quite literally, the building blocks of our digital world. And you can bet that controlling their supply is a massive geopolitical prize.
And this is really where our story kicks off. India isn't just dipping its toes in the water here. No, this is a full-on cannonball. It's a massive, multi-billion-dollar push to build an entire semiconductor ecosystem from scratch. The goal? True technological self-reliance. Now, to really wrap our heads around the scale of this ambition, let's just zoom in on one single project that pretty much says it all. Okay, what's this number? 48 million. Get this. That's the number of chips a single new factory is projected to churn out every single day. That's the kind of mind-boggling scale India's shooting for. So behind that incredible number is the Tata Group's brand new plant in Morrigan, Assam. We're talking a huge investment, a completion date that's right around the corner in 2025, and thousands of new jobs. This one factory is set to become a cornerstone for India's chip supply, especially for critical sectors like cars and telecom. That Assam plant is a really big deal for sure, but it's just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. So let's zoom back out and take a look at the nationwide strategy that's driving all of this. And this is it. This is the heart of the whole operation, the India Semiconductor Mission, or ISM. And the goal here is absolutely huge. They want to build a completely self-reliant semiconductor ecosystem. I'm talking from the initial design and the actual fabrication, all the way to assembly and testing, the whole shebang. So what's the price tag for a dream this big? Well, there it is. That's roughly 10 billion US dollars. Now, to put that into perspective, you've got the US and the EU putting up over 50 billion each with their own CHIPS Acts. So while it's not the biggest bet on the global table, it is a very powerful statement to the world that India is absolutely serious about becoming a major player. So why the huge investment? Why now? Well, just look at this chart. India's own domestic market for these chips is projected to nearly triple by 2030, hitting over $100 billion. The government wants to capture a huge piece of that pie for itself and hopefully make it even bigger. But you and I know that building a high-tech industry isn't just about putting up a few factories. It's kind of like building a city, right? You need the roads, the power, the housing, but you also need the talented people and the businesses to make it all work. You need an entire ecosystem to make it thrive.
And that's exactly what India is trying to do. Their strategy really rests on three core pillars: attracting big-time investment, developing a deep pool of local talent, and forging key international partnerships. Let's take a closer look at that talent piece, because it's pretty interesting.
See, this is where the plan gets really granular. You need absolutely brilliant people to run these advanced fabs. That's short for fabrication plants, by the way. The super clean, unbelievably complex factories where chips are made. So India is launching massive training programs like Chips to Startup to get 85,000 professionals ready. They're creating new university degrees, and they're partnering with giants like Lam Research and IBM to train tens of thousands of engineers.
And remember that third pillar? Partnerships? Well, here it is in action. This recent announcement of a strategic alliance between India's own Tata Group and a global titan like Intel, that's a massive vote of confidence. This is exactly what it looks like, combining domestic manufacturing ambition with world-class tech and expertise.
So the ambition is crystal clear, and the plan is definitely in motion. But let's be real for a second. The road ahead is going to be tough. India's jumping into an incredibly competitive global race, and there are some serious hurdles to overcome.
This chart lays out the two sides of the coin perfectly. On the one hand, you have the headwinds. These are huge obstacles. The astronomical cost of just a single fab, the insane need for ultra-pure water and totally uninterrupted power, not to mention fierce competition. But on the other hand, you have the tailwinds, some powerful advantages, a massive domestic market, a really strong pool of design engineers, and decisive government support. It's a classic high-risk, high-reward game.
And this right here is a major vulnerability. It's really hard to achieve true self-reliance when you depend on other countries for the super specialized equipment and critical raw materials you need to make chips. Building out this part of the supply chain is going to be a huge long-term challenge.
Which, of course, brings us to the ultimate question. We've seen the plan, we've seen the investment, and we've seen the challenges. So, can India actually pull this off? Can it become a global semiconductor hub?
This timeline really shows the journey they're on. It kicked off in 2021, the first big plants are set to open in 2025, and all eyes are on that 2030 target. You better believe the next few years are going to be absolutely critical.
When you boil it all down, it all comes down to this: the ability to design and manufacture these tiny, powerful engines of the future right at home. So India is all in. They've put their chips on the table, and the whole world is watching. Can a nation literally engineer its way to the top of the world's most critical industry? The race is on, and believe me, the outcome is far from certain.